Cool. All right, let's see when we pop up here. Cool. All right, so are you guys interested in the fluid stuff? I know you are. And I've been trying to put out as much possible content on fluid dynamics, like fluid physics, stuff like that. So, because Blender's good for that stuff. It's not great, like it's not perfect, but it's good enough to teach you guys like how to run these simulations, how to like experiment with different objects, collision objects, things like that. So, I am live on YouTube. If you guys want to head over there to see my screen a little bit better, but for now, I will go ahead and flip this screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. And we'll kind of go from there. So let me get my tripod. So put you guys on the tripod here. And I'm going to put you guys sideways so you can like really see what's going on here. Cool. How do we cooperate with you and I can make good sound design for motion designers? Oh, nice. Yeah, go ahead and send me a message and we'll talk. At the moment, I'm not looking for sound design like this very moment, but when I am, I'll definitely like keep you in mind for that for sure. All right. Alrighty, guys. So we are live on YouTube and Instagram, and we are going to go ahead and get into some fluid simulations. So this should be pretty fun. I'm also going to start recording. Again, we're going to go into this like how we have been with kind of no plan, but I recently had to do a physics simulation in Blender with fluid. So and it was for a client project, and I want to show you guys kind of how I did that, how I went about that, because I think you guys are really going to enjoy like what this entails. It's just like a really, really interesting technique. So let me go ahead and start recording. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be having a super relaxed session and we're going to just do a fluid simulation. So we're not going to have any particular plan going into this, but I'm going to show you guys how to create something really, really interesting in Blender with a fluid simulation. So let me go ahead and open up Blender here and let me open up a recent project that I've been working on. This might take a quick second to load. So I made a few fluid simulations in here. Let me back this up to frame 0 so I can show you guys what I have done. So basically, I modeled this this shape right here. It's not too complex. I'll show you guys how to model something like this. And what I did is I ran a fluid simulation where basically the entire ring gets filled with this chrome liquid. So you guys probably saw this on my story recently. And I already know people are going to be messaging me, asking me when I'm going to put out a tutorial on this. Now, this is actually relatively easy to create. Now, I say this because I have a lot of experience with fluid simulations. I'm doing them all the time now, so I know how to create this. From a beginner standpoint, this might be a little bit more advanced than you guys are willing to have, but I want to show you guys how to do this anyway. So as you can see from the beginning here on frame 1, the fluid starts flowing right here like that, and it just kind of goes around the whole ring like that. Now, you can start and stop this whenever you want. There's a lot of things we can customize here. I'm going from frame 1 all the way up to frame 500 because for my client project, I want that ring to completely fill up with liquid. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of the client project, but this is the start of what I'm working on, and it's honestly super fun to make these fluid simulations because you have to wait a second for them to bake. But they're just a lot of fun to do. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to basically create this or something very, very similar to this. And I think you're going to get a lot of value out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new document, a new general file. I'm going to delete the light. And you guessed it, I'm going to, actually, we're going to keep the default cube. We'll spare him for now. So I'm actually going to click on the default cube object, quick effects, and then quick liquid. This is the quickest way, guys, to create a liquid simulation without having to set up your domain and your effectors and all that stuff separately. So what you're given here is you're given your domain, which is what's highlighted right now. And then this is your actual fluid that is either going to run like a faucet or it's going to just drop like a geometry. In this case, if you go over to our fluid tab, it's set to geometry. So when I press play, it's going to drop as if it was just this cube of liquid. Now right now, this is not baked to a mesh. We are going to bake our simulation to a mesh, and we're also going to be messing with a lot of the settings. But before we do this, I want to go ahead and save my project to my desktop as fluid circle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this to the desktop, and now this is where we're going to model whatever it is that our fluid is going to flow through. So this is where we have complete creative freedom, and then we're going to have to go ahead and mess with the settings to get it perfect so that everything interacts correctly. So in my last case, I added a mesh, I added a cylinder. I'm going to go into my solid view, and I'm actually going to bring my cylinder up for like the modeling part of this. I'm just going to scale it way up, and then I'm going to shrink it on the z-axis a little bit like that. That looks pretty good. I'm going to give it a bevel modifier, an edge split modifier, and then a subdivision surface modifier. I'm going to bump the subdivision up to 2, and we can change that later. I'm going to shade smooth, and I'm actually going to go to Object, Apply, Scale. As you can see, that bevel changed a little bit when we applied our scale, and I'm just going to decrease it just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and tab into edit mode. I am going to select my top face because I'm on my face select mode. I'm going to select that top face. I'm also going to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to go ahead and inset this face. So I'm going to click on the inset tool, and I'm just going to drag this in a little bit. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to go to my top down view, and we're going to do this a few times. And I'll show you why. So we're going to just do it a few times, and we're going to stop it right about there. So now we have this middle face selected, and we have a bunch of loops right here. We're going to use those to our advantage. So I'm going to use G and Z to start pulling this down, right? And I'm going to basically create exactly what I had in my previous animation. I'm just going to scale that down, and you want to make sure it doesn't go through the floor, so I'm going to bring it a little bit above. Now, a really cool trick when you guys are modeling, go ahead and click on this button right here. This is the X-ray button. That way you can see all your vertices and all of your segments while you're modeling. Because right now we have modifiers applied to our shape, so you're not going to necessarily be able to see that circle that I have selected. The next step is I now want to select one of these edges here, one of my inner edges. I'm going to go to my top-down view to do that. And then in order to select the whole loop, I'm going to go to Select, Loops, Edge Loop. And now I have that entire edge selected. I'm going to scale that in a little bit. And then I'm going to select the next one. So I'm going to go to Select, Loops, Edge Loop. Now I have this inner one. And this is where we can start to make that concave shape that you guys saw. So I'm going to press G, Z to bring it down. And as you can see, I'm already creating this nice concave shape. I'm going to scale it in a little bit. And then I'm going to select this next edge loop. And I'm also going to scale that out a little bit and bring it down on the z-axis. As you can see, I have this nice little beveled area. Now this is where you guys get to be really creative with how you want to do this. In my case, I'm going to also select this edge loop on the bottom, select loop, edge loop, and I'm going to scale that out so we have almost like a dog bowl styled shape here. So this is just like really, really simple modeling practice right here, but this is the kind of stuff you need to know when you want to create what I'm about to show you. I'm going to also select this one, scale it out a little bit. Now, I want to add another loop cut. In order to do that, you want to press Control R, and as you can see, when we hover over different parts of our shape, it's going to give us different areas that are highlighted. I want to click on this one right here, and then I want to move it up towards the top, and then I want to go to my X-ray mode, and I think I'm going to add another loop cut inside of here, just on the edge there. Now I'm going to select this edge. I'm going to go to Loops, Edge Loop, and I'm going to bring this down. And as you can see, we have that nice concave shape there. Now be careful because we have modifiers applied to this, but this is more or less how you would create a shape like this. I'm going to continue to edit this as I go. I want to scale this in a little bit. I want to take these edges and move them in just a little bit more. Select Loops, Edge Loops. Just make sure this is scaled in a way that makes sense for our project. That looks pretty good. And again, we can continue to modify this as we go. I can tab out of edit mode. I can scale it on the z-axis just a little bit more. And then if we want to, we can actually go back into edit mode. We can select multiple edge loops. For example, these two edge loops right here, right? Select loops, edge loops, and then just bring them up on the z-axis, right? So now we have this nice concave shape that we're working with that our fluid can run through. It looks like there's one more that I'm actually going to scale up to make this a little bit of a smoother transition, just like that. Now I think this looks pretty good. This should be good enough for what we're working for. If you guys want to get even smoother, you can mess around with the bevel, and you can mess around with the subdivisions. Right now we're at 2. You can do 3 if you'd like. That's totally fine. I think this looks pretty good, enough to show you guys how to run the fluid through this groove. So I'm going to go ahead and move this down a little bit so it's kind of on the floor here. Where's the floor? There it is. So I'm going to go to my side view so I can actually line it up with the floor. I'm going to select my domain and my cube, and I'm going to move them up. I'm going to go to my wireframe mode, and I am going to scale up my domain, and I'm going to make it go just around our bowl here. Remember, whatever object you're using for your fluid simulation needs to be inside of your domain. If it's not, it will not function properly. This is good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then in terms of our cube, this will be our flow object. I'm going to scale that down as well, and I'm going to bring it down on top of the bowl somewhere. So probably like in this groove here would be fine. Just make sure I know where it is. So when you guys scale these objects down, make sure they're not touching the groove itself. Right now I'm in X-ray mode so I can see what's going on. This looks pretty good. It's inside the groove enough where you should be able to tell what's going on. Hi man, I'm from Tajikistan, Central Asia. That's awesome. Thanks brother for making awesome tutorials. You're a student from India. Hi mate, where are you from? East Coast, USA. Alright guys, so we are inside of our object here. We have our fluid flow. So I'm actually going to go over to the fluid tab. Instead of geometry, I'm going to click on inflow. And then I'm going to select an initial velocity, and this is where we decide where is our fluid going to flow. In my case, I want it to flow on the positive y direction. So I'm going to put 2 there for that value. And when we bake our simulation, it will now flow around our groove. But in order for it to actually be affected by this object here, we need to add a fluid effector. So I'm going to add a fluid effector, and then type collision is fine. Surface thickness, this we're going to really need to fine tune. For now, I'm going to click on this and do 0.5. We're going to have to come back to that because after we bake our simulation, we're actually going to have to test different values to see what's working best. Now I'm going to select my fluid domain. We are on liquid. Resolution divisions, I'm going to go with 80 for now. Now let's go down to the bake area or the cache area. Let's select mesh right here. Okay, so this is going to bake to a mesh. Instead of replay, you're going to want to select all. And then instead of 250, we're going to write 100 for our frames that we're going to bake to. And I think everything is properly set up. We're going to find out when we bake. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Bake All. And as you can see, it's going to run through our simulation here. Super curious to see how this is going to work out because, like I said, guys, it takes a lot of experimenting when you are baking these simulations. Luckily, I have a pretty fast computer, so it's going pretty quickly. And if we go ahead and play this back, we're still in wireframe mode here, you will see that we actually got a pretty good simulation on the first try. So these resolution divisions are very, very low, and we're only going to frame 100. So you're going to notice it looks very, very globby. And the reason that it looks like that is because our resolution division is at 80. I'm going to go ahead and jack it up to probably 150, and I'm going to show you guys what that difference looks like. I'm going to go ahead and bake again. Now these numbers that I got for the edges of the object, the surface thickness, that point, what was it, 0.5 that we selected, that took a lot of experimenting. So a lot of experimenting and baking. This is going to take a lot longer to bake this than it would to bake the previous fluid simulation. That is because we raised the resolution division. So guys, remember that resolution division is more or less how realistic your animation is going to end up. So keep that in mind. The higher you put that number, the longer it's going to take. How much do you earn from Blender per month? That's something that's sort of personal, so I'm not going to answer that live on stream. But I would say like it's enough to kind of keep me going, and it's enough to just kind of have a steady income. And it definitely varies per month depending on the type of projects that I get, YouTube views, stuff like that. There's a lot of factors that go into the actual income that I generate. So, all right, we are almost at frame 100. I'm super excited to see how this came out. And the reason I'm only going to frame 100 is because we're doing this as a tutorial, and I know you guys don't want to wait around for that. All right, so here is our simulation. Let's go back to frame 0, and let's go ahead and play this back and see what it looks like. As you can see, it looks really good. It looks like it starts to get caught up a little bit right there. I'm not quite sure why. The other thing I just realized, guys, we actually did not apply any of the modifiers that we put onto this shape, but it actually ended up working out. Ideally, I would actually apply all this stuff, but this is the part where you guys can kind of add whatever you want to this. You can add any materials you want. You can change the lighting, the environment that you have around your scene, but more or less, this is how you would take a fluid object and run it through a groove. Now, this thing that I modeled right here was totally from scratch, so it's from a cylinder. You guys can model whatever you want. You can even decrease the subdivisions or the resolution division on your simulation, and you can rerun it with a higher velocity value. So I'm going to actually click on this. I'm going to do like 80 for our subdivisions this time. I'm going to go back to my cube, which is our original effector, or sorry, flow object. Instead of a Y value of 2, I'm going to actually use 5. So now this water is going to come out a lot faster. So let's go ahead and rebake the simulation one more time, because I just want to show you guys what is actually happening there with our fluid simulation and why it's so important to look at all these different metrics when you're running your simulation. And again, obviously important to know which direction is Y and which direction is X. Okay, so this is exactly what I wanted. I knew this would overflow because the velocity was so high, it actually escaped our little groove here. But this is really interesting because now you guys are learning that when you run these simulations, it's a lot of testing. So as you can see, I'm overflowing here by frame 100, or actually more like by frame 49, 50. So if this is what you guys wanted and this is what you desired out of your animation, then this is perfect. But for me, I actually don't want that. And what I did for my client project was I had to mess around with these settings for a couple of hours to get everything correct. So when you guys are creating this kind of stuff, you're just going to have to go back and forth, rebake your simulation a bunch of times. This looks pretty cool, but I would probably ideally have it go longer so that the circle completes itself. In my case, I had to go all the way to frame 500, and I was rendering this at a resolution of 200. So it was a pretty high resolution. It looked really good, but I'll go ahead and I can go ahead and pause this recording, come back with a higher resolution to show you guys, and then we could set up like a really simple scene where we have some lighting and some materials. Now, if you went to rendered view right now, you wouldn't really see anything because not only are we in Eevee, but we have no environment. I'm going to switch over to cycles. I am going to go to my environment texture tab. I'm just going to add in a quick environment texture here so we have something to work with. And I'm just going to give our bowl shape like a darker color so we can actually see what's happening. Metallic, of course, low roughness, shade smooth. Click on our water, also shade that smooth. And then I'm going to go ahead and just give this a nice blue aqua color. So this is just a quick way to kind of set up the scene here. I'm going to add a plane in, scale that up, make sure it is below our like bowl item here. And I'll also give that a nice metallic shader with a lower roughness. Now this is really fun because again, you guys can create any fluid effector you want. In my case, I just created this bowl, but it actually ended up looking really, really interesting. Let me snap to my camera and see what we have here. I'm just going to go ahead and change some dimensions around real quick. I'm going to make this Instagram portrait, and I think I'm going to go with an orthographic view for this one just because I personally just love the orthographic perspective. I just think it's beautiful, and it really showcases everything really nicely. I'm also going to even out all these dimensions for the camera location. That looks good, and I'm going to zoom out even more with my orthographic camera. Now it looks like I'm clipping into the floor a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. That looks good, and I'm going to zoom out even more. Cool. All right, I'm pretty happy with that for the most part. That looks awesome. And again, you guys can change literally anything. You can change the color of the background, whatever you want. I'm not really sure what I'll end up doing, but so far I'm pretty happy with what I have. I would just like to see this go a little bit further in terms of the actual fluid simulation itself. So I'm going to go back to solid view. I'm going to click on my fluid domain. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the video after I show you guys these settings. I'm going to bake this, and then I'm going to come back to this, and we're going to go ahead and see what we have. So I'm going to click on free all. I'm going to go to my end frame 500, and then I'm going to jump up my resolution division to 200. So I'm going to bake this. We're going to see what we get, and then I'm going to come back to you guys with the completed baked animation. I'm also going to change my frame range to 500, and that is in your output properties. I think we're good to go. The only last thing I'll cover real quick is you can select the custom folder where you want this to be cached. So when you actually bake your simulation, you will have a place to store that you know it's not going to be touched. I recently baked a simulation. I accidentally overwrote the old one. So just be really careful when you're doing this. It looks like I'm going to go ahead and see where the heck this is being stored. Local temp. That's fine. I'm going to make a new, I'm just going to call this tutorial cache. That's fine. And that's it. Accept. And then I'm going to click on bake all. This is going to take a second, so I'm going to come back when it's done. In the meantime, I'm going to answer everybody's live questions, so I'll see you in a second. Cool. All right, guys, well, that is going to take a second. In fact, that'll probably take, let's see, it's on frame 7. It's actually not going to take that long, but it'll take long enough where I can sit here and answer your guys' questions real quick. Kind of pay attention to my viewers here before I hop right back into that. You guys have any other questions that you want me to cover, or is there anything that I missed on here? Make sure I didn't miss anything from you guys. Approx. Who said approx? How much do you earn from Blender? Oh yeah, I kind of already answered that. Already answered where I'm from. Everybody that is viewing on YouTube, make sure you guys are on the Discord as well. What are the best plugins or add-ons that you use? Yeah, Blender Kit, Pure Sky. There's one called Botanic. I don't use it that much, but it is a great add-on. Image as planes, like, I mean, that sounds stupid and it's already built into Blender, but that one is honestly really, really useful, especially when you're doing stuff that I do, kind of creating those cool client projects. What else? There's an add-on for like adding this round cube in. I just don't remember. I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, there's a lot of useful stuff for Blender for sure. So you're recording and streaming at the same time. Random Frank P shorts? No way is that Random Frank P. There's no way that's actually him. Bro, I've been following you for... If that's actually you, that's crazy, because I've been following you for a minute. So yeah, I have OBS open. I'm streaming to YouTube, and I'm also recording the tutorial so I can upload it later. That way I can cut this up however I want, and I can use it for my Instagram Reels too. Where is the Discord link, though? Yeah, let me go ahead and grab that for you, because... Bro, is this actually Frank? There's no way, bro. There's no way. Invite people, copy link. Cool. It's not. Yeah, I didn't think so. What is Random Frank P shorts? There's a Discord link. How about your first commission? What exactly did you want to know about the first commission? I'm curious. Ask away, though. I'm an open book. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. Like, if you have questions, let me know. But if it's something I'm not willing to answer, you're going to have to respect that. So, like finance stuff, guys, just pro tip from me, don't ever ask anybody about finance stuff. I promise you it will end up screwing you over in the long run. I've done it. Like, for example, you just ask someone, like, what do you make a year? You know, like, be really careful asking people those types of questions. Totally personal information that no one is obligated to talk to you about. So, be super careful who you ask. I don't care, because, like, I know you guys are just trying to learn, but, like, I'm telling you, be careful who you ask that question to. It can be considered insulting. Is YouTube live? Yeah, YouTube's live right now. So, Random Frank P shorts, do you work for Random Frank P's channel, or did you just name your YouTube channel that? And how did you stumble across my channel? That's really interesting. The idea is to make his videos in shorts and then ask him how to hire me for that job after. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I like that. So you kind of like, you're trying to get him to hire you. That's cool. Like, how did you get them? How has it been hard to do it? Oh, has it been hard? I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Has it been hard to do it? So, yeah, I know you guys want me to talk about this more. The way that I get commissioned work is, to be honest, usually out of my control. People just kind of message me, and they're like, "Hey, Kenny, can you do this for me? Or can you make an animation? Can you make an album cover? Whatever it might be." And I, obviously I'm going to reply yes, because, like, usually there's money involved, so I'm not going to say no to a new opportunity. So yeah, I would say just here's my tips if you really, really, really want to grow on Instagram and you really want to, like, increase the amount of clients you're going to get. You can cold message people. I used to do that. I stopped doing it. Eventually, if you're putting out good work, someone's going to notice. Someone's going to notice, and they are going to message you and ask you for more work. Do you sell assets made by you on Marketplace? Yes, I do. I sell on Gumroad. Message me and I will send you the link. If not, if you go to any of my YouTube videos, all those links for, like, everything that I'm, like, selling online, that's all there. So Gumroad, yeah, you can download some of my custom shaders and stuff like that. I like YouTube more than Instagram. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my preference is, guys, to be honest. We're on frame 125 out of 500, by the way, so we're getting there. Hi, Yo Kenny. What's up, Sampad Dutta? Random Frank P says, true. Are you a VFX artist or 3D animator? Drumroll, please. Both. I'm both of those things. Now, I'm really mainly a 3D person, but VFX kind of like goes hand in hand with that. Like, if you know 3D, like, you're going to have an easier time with VFX. And I've always edited videos. I've done, like, little slideshows for people since I was young, so I always knew my way around, like, editing software. So that was never really an issue. It's crazy because I like to think if I look back, like, if I never made those slideshows, I might not be doing what I'm doing today, to be honest. Why render good on orthographic mode in Blender? Why render good? Are you asking me why I chose the orthographic view? What do you guys have against orthographic view? Now, look, I get it. Orthographic view is not naturally seen in real life. I know there are. I'm pretty sure there's a maybe it's not orthographic. There's other types of lenses you can put on cameras to get really interesting effects. Anamorphic, that's what I'm thinking of. So there's like anamorphic lenses that you can put on cinema cameras, but I like orthographic mode because I feel I just like the way it looks. I don't know. It's honestly a personal preference. It's not necessarily something you have to do, but that's what I like to do. My first video on your page, Cube VFX. Oh, the first video you ever saw, you're saying? Yeah, that actually got me a lot of attention. So I'm glad I posted that Cube video. Really glad I posted that. That got me a lot. I'm surprised it didn't get any clients because people love that shit. They really do. Man, this is taking forever. Guys, we're on 32% here. I mean, I promised people that I would go through with this, so I have to wait until it's done. I don't know what else to say. I can keep answering your questions, though, if you guys have some. Yeah, first I saw... what does it say? Arav Pakarov, are you from India? Sorry, I probably said your name wrong, didn't I? Parketh? Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, guys. Also, I realize I can probably expand this while I wait. Cool. Alright, cool. Oh, man. So are you guys all in Discord, all the 5 people that are normally watching this? Hi, sir. Hello, Beluga94. How are you today? It's good to hear from you, man. Likes 7. Nice. Guys, we just passed 6,000 subscribers on YouTube, so that is super exciting. Were you guys here yesterday when we were sculpting Mew? Was anybody here for that? Super happy about that, too. Can you tell something about rigging? Yeah, I have that on my list of things to cover, so don't worry. I promise you guys I will get to that eventually. I just, I've been slacking a little bit in terms of, like I'm not going in any particular order when I make these tutorials. I kind of just, sometimes I'll knock off the easy ones real quick. Like, I'll do, like, 5 easy ones in one day, and then I'll do, like, a sculpting one the next day, because sculpting takes hours and hours of work. I think I was doing an hour-and-a-half sculpting thing yesterday, and to me, that's a lot of time. Like, it's a big chunk out of the day because, like, you know, you only have so many hours in the day. Like, then I have to edit it. Then I have to make the thumbnail. Then I have to turn it into a YouTube short and a reel. So it's like a little more work goes into each tutorial than people might realize. So, yeah, it can take up a lot of time. So, I just joined your Discord. Awesome. Yesterday, I slept early. Oh, nice. I started learning Blender 2 weeks ago, and I don't know if it's better to learn modeling first or rendering tips, materials nodes, lighting. Yeah. So there's no necessary order. I mean, modeling, everyone thinks that modeling is like the core foundation of Blender, and like I think they think you have to learn it first. I disagree. In fact, I did not learn modeling until a couple months ago. Like, I really haven't been doing much modeling at all because I know how to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish without modeling. So, but modeling is super vital if you want to get into like really intricate projects, if you're modeling something from scratch for somebody, if you're trying to engineer something, trying to 3D print something, like, yeah, like you're going to want to know how to do modeling. So, there is no perfect order to learning things. I would say if you're just starting out in Blender, like learn how to navigate the viewport, learn how rendering works in general, the difference between rendering an animation and rendering an image, cycles in Eevee, for example, like light path settings, render properties like sample count, denoising, nodes. There's literally a million and 10 things you have to learn to understand Blender. When did you start? I mean, by your age. When did I start? By my so I'm 28 right now, and when I started Blender, it was like I think 2 or 3 years ago. So I guess 26, 26 or 25. No, probably 25. Yeah, okay, maybe like 2.5 years ago I started. So there's your answer for that. In terms of what you want to learn first, I would say go ahead, learn modeling if you want to. If you know how to navigate the viewport, though, that's honestly almost as important. Like even something like snapping to a certain section, or like snapping to an object real quick, like putting an object in a collection, deleting something, duplicating something, moving it, rotating it, modifying it. Like there's a million things to learn. So it's a tough thing to answer. Like at this point, I'm just giving you my opinion for what I think is the best thing to learn first, which would be just navigating Blender in general. And then if you want to get into modeling, that's totally fine. And then if you want to get into lighting, like you're going to need to get into that. You can always just slap an HDRI on your scene if you want, but it's important to set up lighting. And it's important to understand how the lighting system in Blender works. So maybe light groups is something I'll cover in the future. Let me get out. Any career tips for me, sir? Is this what you do for your job? Like, is this your current full-time job, or are you just asking in general, like career tips? And I hope I answered everybody on YouTube. I just want you guys to know I am paying attention to like Instagram here and then YouTube there. You guys probably don't even see that I'm on it. Instagram, do you? Instagram or YouTube, Instagram. Getting them mixed up over here. All right, cool. Yeah, let me know what you meant by career tips, and I will gladly answer that question. It's interesting. We have 5 people on Instagram, and then we have 7 people on YouTube. So it's kind of like, I don't really know. I don't know where to look. I'm like left and right, left and right. Hello, Kenny. Than you for tutorials. Thank you for tutorials. No problem. You know what I've been getting really good at, guys, is looking at your comments, and if you misspell something, no offense, but you just did, and I'm like, okay, I think I know what you were trying to say. And then sometimes you guys answer my questions on my story, like my polls and my little questions that I put on there, and I have no idea what you guys are talking about sometimes. Which I don't care, but like if you guys are trying to give me like useful information, sometimes I have no clue what you're trying to say. I need a tutorial on Blender animation for website design. Huh. So that is a good example of like, I'll just ask you to be a little bit more specific, like what exactly is the client asking you for? And then I can go over like how you would assess that. I am so interested in Animator for filmmaking. That could be cool too. I mean, that more or less is what you're doing when you're creating something in Blender. Like it is like a little miniature film. We are at 50% of the bake. Oh my God. There's no turning back now. Your tutorials are super highly information. Yeah, I try to share as much as I can. A lot of people, I feel like, guys, maybe it's just me, but they just don't go into the detail that I wish they would. That's why I'm trying to do that. Your average salary for Blender Animator varies so much. And someone asked me this earlier, but like in terms of how much money you can make with Blender, it's really up to you. Like sometimes I've had moments before where I had to turn down projects because I just didn't have the time with my other like full-time work going on. Because before I did this full-time, I was I had like a full-time job where I actually went into an office somewhere and I worked there. So every time I came home, I was like, okay, now I can work on my commission projects. And then that extra time in my day when I came home, I always used it for commission projects. I don't remember how much I was pulling in though. I mean, thousands, but like over, period of like a couple months. So if you're doing this full time, more than likely you're going to want to do this full time for an animation studio or like Pixar, Disney, whatever, DreamWorks. Like I mean, being a freelancer is not easy. So I don't. It's not that I'm not suggesting to be a freelancer, but like you better have some work lined up if you're gonna do this. Yeah, don't just blindly go into it with no plan, which is kind of what I did, but that's okay. This guy says, why I'm learning animation and rigging. I wrote a story. I need an animation like a short film. Oh, cool. I love animation short film in the internet. Yeah, I do too. I used to watch. There's a place called Vancouver Film School, and if you look at their YouTube channel, it's actually really cool. And there's a lot of cool student projects on there that you can check out from people that are learning animation. So, yeah, there's so much content online that you guys can take a look at for inspiration. But animation's fun, um, especially because I think about this a lot. Like in an animation or like in the 3D world, like you have completely full control over everything you're doing, more or less. Obviously, there's some things that you're going to have to pay for, some things you're going to have to spend more time on. But if you want a light moved 5 inches to the left or 2 feet above the character, like all you have to do is type that in and it's done. So, yeah, there's really like no limits with what you can do. And did I mention that Blender is free? I don't know if you guys know that, but Blender is free, so go download it. Which field do you like the most? Field to study in? I would say graphic design, like interface design, like UI UX. Animation's a lot of fun, but I also really like the psychology behind user interface design. Like if you look at an app and you're like, why did they put that button there? Like they should have put it right here. Like stuff like that is really interesting to me. Like user flow. Like if I open up, like here, I'll just show you guys real quick because it's something I've been working on the past couple of days. Now this has nothing to do with Blender, but I've been working on an interface design for an app. So like these are like all my notes. There we go. Starts out with like random sketches like this. And then you get into some more complex sketches like this. And then you get into stuff like this. And you're like, wait, no, maybe that'll work better. Nah, you know what? Maybe that'll work better. And then you get into stuff like this. And then you overthink every single step of the way. So, yeah, stuff like that I'm really fascinated with. And it's really fun to work on those types of projects. So, I would say like user interface design, graphic design are always fun. Making the logo can be a blast depending on the client you're working with. So, yeah, but that's the answer to that. So, yeah, I'm happy you guys asked that because there's a lot to learn. We're at 57% right now. Unbelievable. Okay, wait. I do full-time job as an exhibition stand designer. I do that in 3ds Max, and I just started learning Blender for new opportunities. Yeah, I mean, like, guys, like, think about the tools you're using, and I would say figure out what works best for you. Because people, like, clients have come to me and they say, Kenny, I want you to build this thing for me, or I want you to do this thing. I'm like, cool, like, I can totally design that in Blender for you. Oh, you're using Blender? Okay, I'm going to find another artist, right? So, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. You know why? Because if you're not happy with the things I'm doing, that's totally fine. You want your client to be happy. And I can't hate somebody for wanting me to use a specific program, but I can't tell you the amount of times that people have figured out, like, I am using Blender, and they're, like, sort of against it. Because I think a lot of people don't understand that Blender, although Blender is not necessarily the industry standard, I think it's slowly approaching an area where we can all use it to accomplish these incredible projects. So I definitely think it is like the underdog still, but it's so powerful. It has a huge community around it. So, you know, Blender can provide you with a lot of opportunities. And you don't have to pay anything for it. Yeah, you can donate to their website if you want to, but you're not obligated to do that. So, yeah. You really did a plan. Yeah, I did. Which field do you like the most? Can you make a tutorial on like something hitting the ground, trees? Yeah, I'll write that down. I don't really know what I would do for that, but yeah. Something hitting ground. Like just another physics simulation. Something hitting the ground. Any better workflow in Blender, but first I am 16. Nice. Bro, that's awesome if you're learning Blender that young. Good for you, man. VFX, sculpture, animation, rigging, simulation. Which one do you love more, and which one do you want to learn like a pro? Pro with two O's, so not your standard pro, but your upgraded pro with two O's. Okay, so which one do I love the most? I love simulations. I love simulations, especially because like you can get to a point where you're really trying to recreate the real life situation, and it's a lot of fun because you get to mess around with different settings, rebake your simulation, look at it again, keep fine tuning it until you're happy with it. And Blender just makes it so easy. Like they just make it so easy to create a simulation. There's no tricks. Like it's just they give you the tools and you use them. So yeah, I would say simulations. Rigging, not a fan of that. It takes forever and it's a pain in the ass. And then animation, yeah, it's fun. Sculpting's fun. Sculpting's more of like a relaxing process where you kind of go in and you're like fine tuning for hours. Like it can cause some serious neck strain and some eye strain. So I would just be careful with sculpting in terms of your health. Hi, how are you today? What are you doing today? So guys, right now, you guys are probably not seeing anything on my screen, and that is because I'm answering user questions while our simulation bakes. We're on 61% out of 500 frames. So a little bit over 250 frames or so to go. Or sorry, that have already been completed. And then once we come back, I am super excited to see this. I really hope Blender doesn't crash. So, hi, how are you today? What are you doing? Just wanted to ask you how to find the right path for Blender career. In the tutorial, hey guys. So, damn, a lot of you guys are asking me these questions. Guys, this is like a really tough question to answer because I don't really know like your current situation. I would need more information out of you in terms of what you're going through, like what you're doing for your, if you have a full-time job, if you have a part-time job. Turning Blender into a career is, you have to be really optimistic about that, is it's not easy. I wouldn't say that I fully turned it into a career yet. I'm working on turning it into a career because there's so much to teach about it. So like with tutorials and stuff like that. But I would say client work is like your main thing if you guys want to learn how to turn that into a career. Like you need clients. There is no other way around it. If you don't have money coming in the door, you can't really call it a career. So yeah, it's tough. It's just really tough to answer that question because there is no answer that will satisfy everybody's question because everybody's question is different based on their personal needs and their life. So do you want to turn, do you really want to do this? So open up Blender. Do you guys use Blender every day? Is it, the people that are asking me these questions, do you guys actually use Blender every single day? Because if you don't, start doing that and then ask yourself that question again in a week. Because after a while, if you're doing the same thing every single day, it can start to get really tiring. So I would highly suggest like doing more research and making sure that is the exact career path that you want to take. And then I would suggest going on YouTube every single day, watch our tutorials on how to do these complex things in Blender. You need to be using the program every single day. If you're not using the program every single day, I would suggest against trying to make that your full-time career. Plans about Christmas, year, and stories. I'm 14 and I started Blender in September. I love it so much. Yes, I love it too. I love Blender. Don't worry, Instagram. I'm going to check your comments in a second. I love Blender so much. When I started Blender, all I did was I took a cube and I dropped it on a plane. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, what else can I do with this program? So yeah, it was this weird magical moment where I realized that I could recreate anything inside of this program that I saw in real life. And it's pretty true. You can. It's just really, really complex to create these really, really intricate things. Like if I wanted to create like fabric that was like super hyper realistic and elastic like that, I mean, we're talking about some really advanced physics simulations and stuff like that, but it's possible. Like I know it's possible. I have a friend who I worked on a client project with recently who created a one-to-one scale ship. Absolutely incredible. I'll have to show you guys the next live stream, but it's just the level of detail that this person was able to accomplish is like, it looks like real life. Like it really genuinely looks like real life. So there is absolutely nothing that you cannot do. Nothing. All right, let me go back and look at these comments. Any workflow, I'm 16. Would you recommend Blender to use as a CGI effect for your short films? Yes, I would. Hi, hello. Me too, sir. I really like to simulate. I am a noob. No, you're not. You got this. I am new to Blender. What will you suggest me to do in my future Blender career? Um, that's a tough question to answer, guys. But I would say keep at it. You need to be consistent with your work and how much you're learning. Learn one new thing every single day. You guys hear that? One new thing every single day. If you're not learning, you're not progressing. If you're not progressing, you're going to fall behind everyone else who has years of experience. I only have like 2 or 3 years of experience, and people think I'm an expert. I am not an expert. If you go online and you look at what some of these people are capable of, it's incredible. So I know I'm only going to get better from here, but where I'm at right now, I still consider myself to be a beginner at this. But again, we're learning more every day. Learning how to teach the program, like trying to make these tutorials, helps me understand it even more. So, you get better with time, but turning it into a career is you really need to be dedicated to this shit if you're going to do that. Where are you from and what is the time there? Time here is 2:38 p.m., so we're in the afternoon here. I just ate lunch recently, and I am in the United States of America on the East Coast, and I'm not going to give you any more specifics than that. How do I get good smoke simulation? Like, how ninjas cloak themselves in a smoke screen. I actually have that on my list of things to cover, a fire and smoke simulation, so I promise you I will get to that eventually. Now, guys, if you go into Object Quick Effects, like there's like Quick Liquid, Quick Smoke, Quick Fire, whatever, go in there and click on Quick Smoke and just see what you get. Blender's default might not be too bad. I know that's the start of like that step in the tutorial. So go ahead and check that out. Let me know what you guys find out. Cool. All right, that's all the Instagram comments. Let's go ahead and take it. YouTube. How are you doing today? I'm good. I know, right? I started with Fluid Sims, and ever since I'm hooked. You're telling me. They're super addicting. Fluid simulations are by far, they're probably one of my favorites. That's why I post on my polls all the time on my story, and I'm like, guys, what do you think? What is your favorite fluid simulation? Or sorry, what type of simulation? And a lot of you guys say that fluid is, or I think someone else said slow motion, so it seems like everybody likes something a little bit different. Your favorite rigging YouTuber, smiley face, or grinning face. I don't know. I can't, off the top of my head, I don't know anybody that is like known for that. I guess maybe Polly Jayford. Jayford, is that how you say it? Guess who's back? Slim Shady. What's up, Ben? Jazz 1:08 a.m. in India. Do you guys not sleep over in India? Because every time someone from India messages me, they say it's 1:08 a.m. It's 3 a.m. Do you guys just go to bed really, really late over there? Everybody talks about graphics cards, and I don't know what it is. Can Blender be used on a regular MacBook? Yeah, so I'll touch on that real quick because it's actually really easy to cover. When you render something in Blender, like when you create an image or you create an animation, basically what you're doing is you're telling your computer to calculate what it takes to like make that image. Like, hey, this light's over here. This cube's right here. Tell me what that's going to look like, right? And the way your computer handles that is it says, okay, do you have a GPU, which stands for Graphics Processing Unit? If you do have a GPU, let's use that and calculate how all this lighting is going to look and how the objects are going to turn out, right? And it gives you your image. If you don't have a GPU on your computer, which a lot of MacBooks don't, you're going to use your CPU, so just your regular like computer processor. And if you're using the CPU, it's going to probably take a lot longer to actually render your image and come up with like your artwork in Blender. But yes, you can use Blender on a MacBook. You should be able to use Blender on pretty much any computer unless it's like super, super old and you can't, download the file for some reason. And I'm sure you're going to want to look at Blender's website to look at their compatibility because not every computer can handle Blender like the way you might want. So I am blessed with this computer, so I have no complaints on my end. But before this computer, guys, I was using a MacBook Air to make all of my renders. If you go back on my profile on Instagram, you can actually find the exact moment where I got this custom computer that's right behind me here, or right behind our screen, and you'll see exactly what my renders used to look like before that. They still looked good, but you know what? I waited 15 times as long for each render to be done. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. France or... Crap, I can't see. What are those two flags? You're asking me to decide between two countries? I can't, and I would probably choose my own country because that's where I grew up. Can you read a bit of Hindi or understand? It's really 1:10 a.m. here. Sir, I worked in Cinema 4D and the viewport is showing black, but all tool panels are showing. Don't know how to help you there, man. I'm sorry. Try restarting the program. I don't use Cinema 4D. I use Blender. Let me gather my notes here. The only thing I have on my notes is something hitting the ground. That's all it says on my notes right here. Guys, we're at 72%. This is taking forever, but is the anticipation killing anybody else? Ramesh Stardust says, or no, sorry, he says Ramesh Stardust, smiley face. It's 3 a.m. for me too. Okay. I mean, look, it's crazy to think that it's a different time somewhere else. Like, it still blows my mind, like time zones. Waiting for renders to be done can definitely be frustrating. Yep, for sure. But you run this shit. Thank you. Was that a compliment? Are you telling me I run this shit? Or are you talking about you're talking about my video where I am Cinema 4D, like I have the logo in front of my face and I'm like, I run this shit. The reason I say that is because everyone thinks Cinema 4D is industry standard. At least that's the mass consensus that I've heard of. So, will you kindly share a video using Blender as CGI? Yes, I will. I love the praying hands. Like, please show me a video of Blender VFX. Please, please, please. Don't worry, I will, guys. It's one of the things on my list, but there's certain topics that take a lot more effort to cover. So, not that I'm not willing to put in the effort for you guys, but I need a lot more time to prepare to actually make sure I create an accurate tutorial. All of my tutorials, the goal is for you guys to be able to follow exactly what I'm doing and replicate it on your own. A lot of you guys will tag me in your stories and show me that you've went through the Fluid tutorial, and you'll tag me, and that is the most heartwarming thing because that means you actually followed the tutorial, you went through every single step correctly, and then you made it. I love getting those messages when people are like, Kenny, like, check this out. I made this because you showed me how to do this. And I'm like, yes, that is my goal, is to teach you guys, and I want you guys to become confident with this program. So, yeah, no, I love getting those messages. Love that. It's one of the most rewarding parts of what I do. I could care less about the money. Like, for me, it's more about, it's honestly more about, like, educating people and making sure they're in a place where they feel comfortable with Blender. So, yeah. I mean, the money's great, and, like, I still need the money, but, like, I don't know. I'd rather make $10 and be happy than make $100 and be like absolutely miserable somewhere where I will never get out of that place. You know what I mean? And I've been there. I have been there. So when will you going to marry? When am I getting married? Next year, actually. Fun fact. Yeah, I am engaged currently. So I use my MacBook, but I want better results. Should I switch to Windows and buy a PC, or should I buy a Mac Studio? You should buy a PC. You should build a PC, and you should get the latest graphics card. I was lucky enough that when I went to go build this computer, I had a lot of help. I went in there and I was like, hey, I literally said, I was like, I need your help. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm trying to build my own computer. I use Blender, I make 3D stuff, I do graphic design, I need this thing to be wicked fast, I want it to be industry standard, top level, best graphics card, best solid state drive, best RAM, best motherboard, best Wi-Fi receiver, whatever it's called, best case. Like, I wanted the best of the best, and this guy hooked me the hell up, and he got me the GeForce RTX 3070 Ti. Now I have 64 gigabytes of RAM, Intel i9 chip, Asus motherboard, and a nice black case over here with the quad fan setup. What else am I missing here? And I think that's everything, because a lot of people ask me, like, what is my computer setup? If you ever need, like, a picture of it or something, or you want to know the specs, just go back on my Instagram. It's on there somewhere. Vlog about Eve Tree, Christmas. Have you heard of Puskas Adrian? Who's that? I thought you're married. No, I'm not. I'm not married. I'm engaged, but I engaged to be married, so don't worry. Hold on. What is this guy? Hey, is there a reason you're in all caps, Beluga? Are you yelling at me? Didn't get the time to practice. Sir, can you tell me about some rigs? Rig add-ons. I don't know of any rig add-ons. I mean, how I can use it. You keep typing in all caps, and it feels like Feels like you're yelling at me, man. Hurting my feelings over here. I thought you were married. How much does it cost? The PC? All right, guys. I'll give you all one guess as to how much I paid for my PC. And if you guess it, I don't know. I can't give you anything. But if you guess it, congrats on that. I'll write. How about this, guys? I'll write the number down right here on a piece of paper, and I'm gonna reveal the number in like a minute, and we'll see if you guys were right. How much do you think it cost to build this PC? I mean, these are all custom parts. Everything's built from scratch. Well, I had to build it. It took me like 8 hours to build the damn thing. I remember my fiance was like, Kenny, like, where have you been? I'm like, I'm trying to build this damn computer, and I've been troubleshooting it for the past, like, I don't know, literally 5 hours. So it took me forever to build this thing, forever. And I'm just going to give you guys the price of the PC. I am not going to tell you, like, that's just the PC. So the price I'm about to give you is just the PC and all the PC parts. Everything else that's on my desk, including the desk, keyboard, mouse, audio receiver, microphone, headphones, speakers, lighting setup, that's all like separate stuff that I bought previously or I had to buy after I got the computer. Oh, here's okay, people are actually guessing. This guy's saying 3K, this guy's saying 4K, 2K, 1500. First, I am too serious. I can tell you're too serious. This guy said $7,000. Bro, can you show me the glass design texture way? I heard you have a Discord channel. Where can I find the link for it? Let me go ahead and post that link for you. There's a Discord link in the YouTube chat. All right, guys, let me write this down, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the answer. We're at 79%. My computer. Why do I feel like Blender's about to freaking crash? All right. Make sure you guys can't see this. Are you guys ready? And this is in US dollars. I feel like I actually don't even really remember. I think this is it. Something like this. I did not need to write that. That was stupid. Hold on. And this is USD, guys. US dollars. Okay, ready? This guy's putting exact cents. Someone who's saying $19? My computer did not cost $19. $6K to $7K dollars. No. All right. So only one person got it right, actually. So you guys ready? I'm going to show. Oh, actually, I should be able to show on both. That's how much it costs. A little bit over $2,000. So there you go. 10K? Hell no. I would never spend that much on a computer. Now, people do, but I would never. So yeah, so I spent about $2,000 on the computer, and at the time, I was lucky enough to get the graphics card alone was like $800. So it was not cheap, but it was entirely worth it because I use this every day for work and for like client projects and then YouTube tutorials. So I would definitely say if you're going to invest your money into something like this, you better be in a position where you need it. I needed it. And as soon as I bought the computer, within a couple of months, I earned that money right back. So, and I remember when I originally bought it, the fiance was like, "Oh, hello. Oh my gosh, we got a family member in here. How's it going?" "Hi, Kenny. Aw, I'm glad you're on the live stream." I don't think if you've ever caught my live stream before, but I live stream, like, I try to live stream at least once a day to kind of keep people engaged on the platform and just, like, talk to people, let them ask questions. But when I first bought the computer, I remember my fiance was like, "Kenny, like, why did you spend that much money?" I was like, "I promise you it's an investment in the business. I promise." We're at 82%, guys. We're getting there. How does your hair stay in place? What gel do you use? I actually don't use gel in my hair. Every now and then I will if I'm like going out or something on the town, on the town as I call it. But if I'm going out to like a bar or going to like a nice, like a wedding or like a restaurant, like sometimes I'll put like a little bit of gel and I'll just literally just go like that. That's it. My hair is like naturally curly, so I think that's why it stays together like that up there. But when it starts to really grow out, it literally looks like I have an afro. So it gets a little wild up there, real quick. Did your fiance also like your work? I think she does, or maybe she just like is trying to just hype me up, and she's like, you got this, Kenny. But I do think she likes a lot of like the satisfying animations that I make. I think she likes those looping animations. So yeah, I would say she definitely supports what I'm doing. So I'm very very lucky to have her. Only 2 grand. Yup. Wow. It's it's cheap a little bit. In US it's cheap a little bit. Yeah, it is. Everything in the US is apparently a lot cheaper than it is in other countries. So guys, we're at 83%. I'm hype. I'm hype. Uh I'm back. I'm a back. What's up, Random Frank P? Welcome back. Don't hate the natural flow. Thank you. Yeah, actually people compliment me all the time on my hair and I'm like it's I literally get out of bed and this is what it looks like. And okay, I run a comb through it, but that's it. And to be honest, I have been trying not to like overwash it because when I overwash it, it gets like dried out. So especially in like the wintertime with like the drier environment, I've been trying to like really take care of it. But I don't know. It's nothing better than a warm shower in the wintertime. So I've been failing at that, but it's okay. So all right, we're at 84%. I'm not going to get into my hair products because that's not what this that's not what this is about. Um, are you using Windows 11? Yes, I am. Yeah. In India, everything costly tech things. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Hello. I'm Passo Fundo Brazil. Oh, Passo from Brazil, and I bought an RX 6500 XT. My wife supports me, but it's not that good for Blender, unfortunately. Well, then why did you buy it if it's not good for Blender? I don't understand, guys. Why would you buy it? Guys, the other thing is not a computer expert here, so if you're going to ask me about like computer stuff, I can't like touch on it too much. Like I really like what, for example, people ask me like what is the best graphics card? Be more specific, you know. But also I can't really answer that. So I apologize if you guys are looking to know what the best graphics card is. I have no idea. I just know that the one I have is perfect. Watching increased. Yeah, I saw that. We had like 14 people on YouTube for a second. The thing is, they were probably on here to actually watch the fluid simulation. Guys, we're at 86%. I am no shot am I rebaking this simulation. Sir, when I open a 2D animation project, the Blender kicks me out. What is it? Do you watch or heard about the Kapil Sharma show? No, I don't think I've heard of that. If Blender's kicking you out, so do you have other programs open? Close out of your other programs and then reopen Blender and see if it still kicks you out. This guy said, yeah. Jazz, I think you might be my favorite person on YouTube right now. You're like one of my favorite viewers. All right, we're 10 and 10. Who's gonna win? So we're at 10 on Instagram and we're at 10 on YouTube. Oh, now we're at 9 on Instagram. All right. Oh well, guys, 87%. We're getting there. Any last minute questions? Because once this bake is complete, I'm gonna hop right back into this tutorial. Sound good? That's interesting because you see the thing spiking up like that. So I don't know if it's that's really interesting. He said 2D animation. Are you going to watch Avatar: A New Way of Water? Yeah, I do want to watch that. I was actually last night I was just watching a special on like behind the scenes. And it was really really interesting. They were talking about how they wanted all of the actors and actresses to practice holding their breath, and some of the actors and actresses could hold their breath for up to, one of them said they could hold it up to 6 minutes. That's a long time to hold your breath for. So good for them. I mean, I don't think I would. I don't know if I could do that. I think I might. When I was like a kid, I could hold my breath for like a minute, maybe. With your fiance. Actually, yeah, she'd probably watch that with me. She's into like, she's like a chick flick type of movie girl, but she'll probably watch that. You should check out Puskas Adrian. Send me the link. Send the link in the chat, T-Bones511. Yeah, send the link over. We'll check it out. Sorry that this is taking so long, guys. I'm growing impatient, but as soon as we're done this, we're gonna wrap up that tutorial, and then I'm gonna hop offline. But if you guys have questions, keep them coming. As I know, your boy Beluga's got more questions. I bet you Beluga has asked more questions than any of my other followers. Guaranteed. Would you ever upload a video where you have a real actor walking in your Blender world? Actually, Yes, I would. Well, because I did the one where I'm holding my hand out and then the Rubik's Cube is hovering above it. So yeah, I would do that for sure. Yeah, definitely. It's the VFX are hard to do because there's a lot of back and forth to fine tune them. But in terms of visual effects, like putting out more reels like that, I do want to put out more reels like that. You know what I was thinking the other day, guys? I'm just gonna open up with you. I want to create a reel or a post or whatever, just some form of content, and just talking about like how it's like you guys got this, one of those motivational pieces of content, because I know a lot of people message me and they're like, I'm not good enough, I'm not, like, I'll never learn Blender like you, or I'll never be able to master this program. Well, first of all, I just want to dismiss that idea of mastering something. To become a master at something, you need to put a ridiculous amount of time into it, and I do not consider myself to be a master at Blender. Maybe Photoshop, I've had a lot of time in Photoshop, so I might be a Photoshop master, but Blender, absolutely not. But I want you guys to feel motivated about the projects you're working on. And I want you to know that, like, I'm here for you. And it's okay to, like, feel discouraged sometimes. Like, do you really think that I'm always confident with Blender? Like, there's been plenty of times where I've been in a project and I'm like, damn, like, I don't know how to do this. Now, what do I do in that situation? I either sulk and I feel bad about myself, or I go on YouTube, I look up a bunch of tutorials, I sleep on it, and I come back to it the next day, and then I actually go ahead and figure out the issue that it was with Blender. These fluid simulations are a total pain in the ass, and I've had so many times where I've had issues with them, where I couldn't figure out like why they weren't working. I had one time where like nothing was working in Blender; it was just glitching out, and it was actually so super frustrating. It made me like not want to do Blender for like a week. I remember I was like, yeah, fuck this program, not doing this anymore. I'm over it. So, but anyway, the whole point of this was I do want to go ahead and make a reel where literally just like 3 words, like, you got this, and that's it. That's it. And then it's just like, that's it. And then in the description, you got this. That's like, because like you don't know who needs to hear that. So this guy says you should check out. Oh yeah, I know I will check that out. You didn't send the link in the chat. You gotta send the link. Yeah. This guy says, he said I should make a new, can you promote a new app by Blender? Can I promote a new app by Blender? You mean like a new add-on? Have I ever talked to Andrew Price, the Blender guru? No, I haven't. I've never talked to him. But, I mean, I would love to. I'm not really sure what I would say. Please tell Hurry have talked. What? Jazz is here. What is that? Celebration face? Have you ever talked to Andrew Price? No, I haven't. But that guy's a beast. That guy has affected more people than anyone realize. Yeah, he is very inspirational, and he got a lot of people started into Blender. So it's super excited to see when people do that, because like they just have such a big impact on the community, and that's my goal too. Like, I'm slowly growing on Instagram, but I'm gonna look back a couple months from now. I'm gonna be at 50K in a month from now. I will be at 50K followers. That's my goal. Or Ian Hubert. I don't think I know who Ian Hubert is. I needed that. Thanks for the good word. Yeah, no problem. Did it work? Oh, you guys talking about the Blender simulation? It's at 94%. We're at 94%. I should have timed how long it was taking. I should have looked at I swear we started this at like 1:30. It's been a minute since this started, but like I said, after I do wrap this up, guys, I'm going to finish like this little part of the tutorial. We'll set up like a quick render, and then I'm gonna hop offline. But I will be back on tomorrow for sure. Yeah, did it work? I mean, I hope it's working. Instagram and YouTube, different perspectives. Yeah, I mean, like, so Instagram right now, you guys have the perspective of like facing forward towards me, and then I realize on YouTube I'm actually like away from the camera. Sorry guys, I've been like in the corner the whole time, haven't I? Sorry about that. You guys can see at the bottom on YouTube. If you look though, it's at 95%, so we're getting there. Yeah. Bro, you gotta slow down when you're typing. Please read this bit. Oh, hold on. Wait, what in the world did you just send me? I sent the link. Did it not show it? Send it to me on Instagram and I'll check it out, T-Bones. Please read this. Oh my god, I cannot read that. Ben Code and Mattercode? Mattercode? Is that how you say that? I have musicians asking me to build a city building with other buildings in the background, and they perform on the rooftop. How can I access quick buildings in Blender, or do I start from scratch? So, yeah, this is a really interesting question. Like, it's for a client project. I'm just trying to think of what I would do in your situation. So, first question, is this a situation where you need a high level of detail? Like, are you rendering this in 4K? Do they expect realism out of this, or do they want this to be stylized? That's almost always my first question, because if they want it to be hyper realistic, I have a completely different approach. My price immediately goes up for any given project that needs to be realistic. So, I would say if it's not stylized and it has to be hyper realistic, you're going to want to go ahead and look at like actual 3D assets that are photo scanned. If not, look on like CG Trader and websites like that, Turbo Squid, Sketchfab, and find hyper realistic. Okay, realism. Yeah, you want to find, if they want it to be realistic, you're going to need hyper realistic textures that are actually photo scanned. You can probably get away with procedural materials, but like, it's probably going to be easier to just buy something and then duplicate it a bunch of times, or get like a whole city pack. Like, I bet if you go on CG Trader right now, you can find a whole city. But trying to think of how close you're going to be to these buildings, because sometimes when you download stuff with textures, they're not great. Like, they're mediocre, and you get too close and you notice it's an image and it's like not very good. So that's tough to say. Look up Blender Kit though. You might be able to find some stuff on there to work with. Oh my god, we're at 98%. Easy way to do a toon shader, please. Do you use Dolly? Yeah, I do use Dolly. Yep. Let me write that down. Easy. What is it? Easy toon shader. All right, guys, I got that. Guys, give me 1 second. I'm gonna be literally right back. I really have to go to the bathroom, and then when I come back, we're gonna wrap up this tutorial. Okay? Give me like literally 1 second. I apologize for the inconvenience. All right, apologies, everybody. Sorry about that. All right. Oh, shit, it's done. Okay, so let me save. Saved. All right, let me go ahead and play this back. I'm going to restart the tutorial, the next part of it, and we're going to play everything back. God, that took forever. I think that might have taken like over an hour or something. It doesn't look that good. Ugh. All right. It looks like it's overflowing. Crap, guys. Oh, no. All right. Here, hold on. There we go. Show you guys this. There we go. Cool. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and try this. Okay, guys. So we're back. It took like an hour and a half or something for everything to bake. Let's go ahead and check out what we have. I'm going to start this from frame 1. Let me zoom in so you guys can see this. And it's overflowing. That would be just my luck. But it actually looks really good. What did we use? 200 for the resolution divisions. It's playing at about 6 frames a second, but as you can see, it does fill that whole cavity, and it looks really, really good. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I'm probably going to just continue to set up my camera shot and just see like what we can get that to look like. But this just looks actually really, really good. I'm quite impressed about how it came out. We went up to frame 500, so I'm going to skip ahead. I'm going to pull my timeline up, skip ahead, and see like what this looks like. What the heck? Okay, so it looks it looks like everything overflowed so much that we're just going to play it. It looks like it overflowed so much that it started filling up the rest of the entire thing. This is absolutely absurd. Guys, I cannot right now. I cannot with this. This was not my goal, but it looks cool. It looks pretty, more or less pretty realistic, I guess. I mean, like I said, turned out cool. I'm still going to go ahead and render this, and then I'll show it at the end of this video, but this was not my intention for this. I mainly wanted the water to follow the inside of the path, which it does here at first, and then as you can see, it completely escapes our path. But I will render this, guys. All right, well, that pretty much wraps it up for this tutorial. I still hope you guys learned something from this. Again, we learned a little bit of modeling today. We learned a little bit of modifiers. We learned our fluid simulation, how to set up like a basic scene with an HDRI, nice camera angle. So I will go ahead and mess around with this a little bit more. I'll render it out and I will show it at the end of this video. But until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day. I hope you learned something, and I hope you're still motivated to learn even more about Blender, because there's going to be even more tutorials coming out. Can't wait to share more with you. I will see you guys later. Have a great day. Cool. All right, guys. So we're done with the actual tutorial part of this. Let's continue to set up this scene. Let's spend no more than like 30 more minutes on this. And I just want to like capture like a cool part of this. Like I don't like this angle. So we're going to actually adjust this angle. I'm going to add in an empty. I'm going to scale it up a bunch. Where is our empty? There it is. All right, I'm going to scale our empty up. I'm going to parent our camera to the empty. You guessed it, because now we can use our empty to rotate around our scene like this. See how we're rotating around our scene? And now we can find the perfect angle for the lighting. I think that's decent. The other thing I want to do is I actually want to expand the crap out of this plane, and I want to get a lower angle with my camera here. Yeah, something maybe like that. And I think odds are, guys, I'm probably going to end up, I'm probably going to render this in HD size. Well, no, I probably shouldn't do that. Yeah, let's render it in HD size for YouTube. Just for now. We're not going to go crazy with this, but I guess we could go ahead and give it a perspective lens. Why not? Let's give it a 85mm lens and bring it way back on the x-axis. Hold on. Let me redo this thing here. Cool. Where is our camera? Go to my top-down view. All right, I want my camera to be at 0 on the x-axis. Sorry, 0 on the y-axis. This is not part of the tutorial. This is just me messing around, trying to get the perfect angle. Cool, and I want it facing 90. Perfect. All right, cool. That's exactly what I wanted, and then I'm going to bring it back on the x-axis like this. Bring it up. Just see what this looks like, and now we can take our empty and we can rotate around easily. It's okay, just go and come. Simulation is over now. Blender autoplay in the background. Tsunami. I know, it's going crazy, guys. It's funny, I feel like Instagram, people like this perspective. Like, they want to see me, and it's kind of strange because I'm like, you don't see my screen, so how is this more interesting for you? But if this is what you guys want, that's fine. And if you're not seeing the screen, go on YouTube. That is where I am streaming right now. So, all right, let's just go ahead and mess around with this. Try to get this to look really, really cool. Zoom out. Oh, guys, I'm a genius. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the empty and we're going to animate it so that we're actually traveling around our bowl. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's start at frame 0 or 1. Let's go ahead and rotate to the spot we need to. It's right about there. Insert a keyframe. And let's head this way. And now let's rotate this way all the way around. Right there. All right, so this is what this is going to look like here. I'm going to go to material preview so it goes faster too. It's going to look something like this. So we're kind of rotating around with it. Following it around. That looks cool. Kind of want to take this, make it white. Maybe black. Why not? Why not? And then let me actually move my camera up. And I'm going to point it down. Joseph Cornelius. What a name, my friend. What a name. All right, this is going to be cool. So we'll start here, kind of follow the flow around. That can be the first start of it, and then I think I might have an outward shot that's zoomed out. Huh. This is going to look cool, though. I'm actually pretty excited to actually go and render this. Let's see how long it would take to render. I'm going to do 100 samples. Denoising, we'll do optics for this one, guys. And then let's go to our light paths. Is GPU and CPU changes the quality and lighting different from others? I don't think so, no. 10, cool. So for the transparent, so for this I'm going to turn it down. Cool. Yeah, that looks awesome. See how when we adjust these, it completely changes the entire image? Cool, cool, perfect, cool. All right, guys, so if you're on Instagram, by the way, hop over to YouTube. Like, that is the spot to be right now. Or don't. Whatever floats your boat. All right, we're also going to hide the cube from the render. All right, guys, let's see how long one frame would take. I'm just curious as of right now, and then we'll adjust as we need to. Lines and letters, real, I can't pronounce that, emil.asf, Dubar Bobin. What's up, Dubar Bobin? Oh, wow, it only took 7 seconds. That's actually not bad. No, that looks good. Should we use motion blur? We can use motion blur. Should we use depth of field? Ooh, let's enable some depth of field and see what kind of effects we can get here. Let's see. Let's find a spot to focus on here. Right there. All right. Now let me see something. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I'm wondering if we should add something in the center for fun. What do you think, guys? Also, does the fluid simulation go... Yeah, it goes everywhere. Oh my god. When do we use 4K samples? Never. Just kidding. I've used them before for like, what is it called? Like glass refraction stuff, but right now I don't need to use that. Guys, I'm gonna end the Instagram stream for now. Good lord. All right, yeah, I'm going to end the Instagram stream. We're going to wrap this up in a second here. I just want to mess around with the lighting a little bit more, so I'll show you guys that process. But all right. For wallpapers? Oh yeah, you can. Oh yeah, you can do that for wallpapers, I guess. This is insane, though. Wow. All right, so for this camera, we're only going up to frame 260 for that first part of the render. So I'm just gonna call this first. Oh God, my neck. First shot. Sorry if you guys had to hear that. My neck sometimes gets all screwy from looking at the screen for too long. So, all right, cool. All right, that looks good. Can we take each frame like a wallpaper? Yeah, you could. Like you could take this frame or this frame. This ended up looking so cool, though. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Should we put some kind of cool material on the floor? Let's look at these materials real quick, guys. Let's copy one over. Always liked this material. This is just a great material overall. Copy. Let's see. Let's copy both of these and see what they look like. All right, so these are our options here. How about we check the floor? Maybe something like this. Or this. Maybe not. I go back. Hold on. I actually do kind of like that for the floor. I don't know why. I think it's nice. Yeah, it looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Thoughts, comments, concerns. The quality is so good here. Oh, for you mean for my stream, you're saying? Yeah, this looks pretty good. I'm just trying to think about like what I'm gonna want to use for the I think like one of these frames down here, I'm gonna have to have an outside shot, maybe like a shot like this. You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead and add a new camera. And let's go ahead and switch to that camera. Oops. Huh. That looks good. Okay, I'm fine with that. Can you tell I'm starting to get tired? Where is the bot? We're not even on the bottom of the simulation. There we go. Now that's more like it. Cool. All right, let me snap to the other camera real quick. That is what I'm talking about. Should we just render this whole thing? Let's see what the minimum amount of samples we can get away with is. I'm going to try 25 and just see what it looks like. I doubt it's going to be good, but let's try it. Oh, crap. Nine seconds. That's not terrible. All right, I think I'm going to set this up. It doesn't look bad, actually. Sometimes when you go for a higher dimension, like 4K. Let's try that. and then you do the same amount, it actually won't take that long. Let's just see. Sometimes, or it'll look better with less samples. You took some video more creative. The render thing also, yeah. Yeah, see, this is 4K, and it's going to take maybe 20 seconds or so. Huh. Let me try it with a higher sample count, or a lower sample count, sorry. Let me try it with 10. Let's try it with 10 samples and see what it looks like. Let's just test it. That actually doesn't look that bad. 13 seconds. Did it not go through the denoising? No, it did. It's a little noisy. To be honest, you don't want to use 10 samples. That's way too low. All right. Well, for now, guys, I'm going to set up some render settings, go through that, and then I will probably see you guys tomorrow. I'm hoping, if I'm not too busy. But this has been real, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys got some value out of this. I am going to go ahead and hop offline. I'm tired, and I got to prepare for some stuff tonight. So